Hello everyone, welcome to Aptera Owners Club. In this video, I wanted to talk about solid-state batteries because like most of you, I've been hearing a lot about solid-state batteries and I didn't really understand them, and all the news that I read made it seem like they were right around the corner, but after researching it a little bit, I don't think that they are coming around anytime really soon. But in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what they are, what advantages they have, how they're different from the regular lithium-ion batteries, and when we might reasonably expect to see them on the market. All right, so this is the website for Solid Power. This is an American company that was started in Boulder, Colorado, and they're one of the big leaders in solid-state batteries. And in this website, they talk about some of the major advantages of solid-state batteries. One is, the biggest one is that they have higher energy density. They're likely to have 2 to 2.5 times more energy density per same weight than the current lithium-ion batteries. So, for the same amount of weight that we would get in like an Aptera 400, mile battery, we would get like 800 or 1,000 miles with the same amount of weight, which would be great because it lowers the weight of the car, which increases the efficiency and the handling of the car, while still giving it a lot of range. They're safer because lithium-ion batteries have a hydrocarbon electrolyte, and those things are very flammable, and so that's why you have the burning batteries. They theoretically have a longer life because they can withstand higher temperatures, and they can fast charge easier. And they're supposed to, if they can work out the kinks, they take less material and are theoretically easier to produce, so they would be cheaper. So, I mean, in many ways, they're a lot better, and that's why lots of companies are very interested in these solid-state batteries. And if you click this About button and you go down here, and you can see all the people that are involved with Solid Power. BMW and Ford are big investors and partners. Hyundai has also invested in Solid Power, as well as A123 Systems, which those of you guys who are Aptera, longtime Aptera followers, will remember that A123 Systems was supposed to be the battery supplier of the original Aptera several years back. There's a couple other companies that are big names. One is QuantumScape. QuantumScape is, I think, they're based out of Silicon Valley, and VW Group is a major partner for them, and as well as an undisclosed top 10 auto manufacturer, which they put in their SEC filing, but they did not disclose who it is. So VW Group, which is, I think the largest, if not the second largest manufacturer of cars, they're in with QuantumScape, and the other one is Factorial Energy. Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz, and Stellantis have partnered with Factorial. So it looks like all the major car manufacturers. Toyota has not joined because Toyota is making their own solid-state batteries. They're developing their technology in-house. And you may remember this from September 6th, where they had their first prototype solid-state battery vehicle, and they were testing it. This was just September of this year. So, I mean, it makes it seem like these are right around the corner because they're already testing a prototype vehicle with solid-state batteries. So first of all, what are solid-state batteries? So here is a schematic from Dragonfly Energy about how lithium-ion batteries work. So this is a lithium iron phosphate battery, and the way it works is there's lithium iron phosphate in the cathode, and when it's being charged, the lithium ions traverse the separator. So there is a liquid hydrocarbon electrolyte in this battery. There's a porous separator that the electrolyte can it's soaked in this electrolyte, and then the lithium ion batteries go across here and go to the anode. The anode is usually graphite, and it lodges. And then when it's being discharged, or when the car is being driven, the lithium ions and the electrons go the opposite direction. And so basically batteries are a chemical reaction that are separated by a separator, and in order for the chemical reaction to occur, it occurs in a controlled fashion with the electrolytes going through the wire and performing some work. And then when you charge it, you drive the chemical reaction in reverse. So the problem with this is that you have to have this liquid electrolyte, which is flammable and therefore dangerous. And then you need to have this separator, which is porous. And you need to separate it by a decent amount, because if the anode and the cathode contact internally, then you have a short circuit and then a runaway reaction. So that you have to have a heavy electrolyte and a large separator, which makes the thing bulkier and heavier. Now, what's the difference about solid-state batteries? So here's how it works. There's several kinds on here. There's a lithium metal battery and a silicon EV cell, but basically the difference is that there is this solid electrolyte right here. This solid electrolyte, so there's no liquid electrolyte, this is a solid electrolyte. It's usually a polymer or a ceramic electrolyte, and usually it uses sulfides or oxides. Most people are using sulfides, and so the advantage of this is that you don't have a liquid, so it's non-flammable, and this solid electrolyte is very thin, and so so there's no liquid, and you don't have to have a large separation distance, because this solid electrolyte is very thin, and so you have a very compact battery that has a lot of capacity for the same amount of weight and space. So this is QuantumScape's compilation of the solid-state landscape. They're talking about all the different major manufacturers or players in the solid-state battery group. There's Toyota, Prologium, Solid Power, Ionic Materials, Samsung, SES, QuantumScape. They haven't put in, I guess they didn't get Factorial Energy in there, although Factorial Energy is one of the major manufacturers. The anode is either carbon silicon, and that would be this type of cell, or lithium metal. So Solid Power is using a carbon silicon and a sulfide, and most of these are sulfide separators. QuantumScape says 100% ceramic. They're probably running a ceramic oxide separator. It's a trade secret, so no one really knows, but that's what people think that they're running. And then if you look at their cycles, QuantumScape recently had a third-party test, and they had greater than 800 cycles, which works out to about 300,000 miles of usage in an automotive application. So that's a lot of life, and they would lose less than 80% of their capacity over that number of cycles. So the cycling is very good in most of these. You see Prologium's 1,000, Samsung's 1,000. So these are quite good, and so you can see why people are wanting to pursue this, because there's so many advantages. What is the problem with them? One of the major problems is because the separator has to be very thin. It's very difficult to manufacture this. So what they say here in this paper from Nature is to achieve practical energy densities, solid-state electrolyte layers need to be thinner than 50 micrometers. So 50 millionths of a meter. So that's very thin. And so if you have a inorganic solid-state electrode like the ceramics, they're very brittle, and you can't, usually they do roll-to-roll manufacturing for large-scale battery manufacture, and it's hard to do those because they're so brittle. And so in this paper, they're thinking polymer solid-state electrodes are better because they could be manufactured in this roll format, which makes it a lot easier. The other thing that this paper talks about, which is a major advantage of these, is that solid-state batteries are theoretically much easier to do closed-loop recycling, and that is the holy grail. What you would want to do is when you have a used battery, you crush and separate it and recover the cathode and recover the electrolyte, and you can reconstitute a whole new battery from an old battery. So you can just kind of endlessly cycle this with minimal inputs and minimal waste. And so solid-state batteries, because they don't have the liquid electrolyte and it's easier to separate the components and reconstitute them, they're theoretically much easier to recycle, which is another good factor. There's another company called Saku. They are, I don't know how to pronounce this, but they're based out of Northern California, and they are going to build a plant right now, which they're going to make a solid state battery by using 3D printing or additive manufacturing. So they feel like by doing that, they can produce these very thin solid state electrolyte layers without any waste, and can scale it much easier. So, we've seen all these news stories about how people are planning to mass produce. Like Murata is a big Japanese company. They were supposed to produce all solid state batteries in the fall, this fall. I went to their website and I looked all over, and there's no confirmation that they've actually produced these. And then if you look in the text, they're actually manufacturing for wearables, so very small solid state batteries, not automotive scale batteries. And then when you look at Toyota, although they are testing a solid state prototype right now, they're not expecting their solid state batteries to arrive until 2025, and that seems like the earliest. QuantumScape makes predictions of about 2025 as well, but they seem to be a little optimistic. Solid Power is saying like 2028. Factorial is saying similar timeframes. So whenever timeframes are like that far out, like 2025, there's a lot that can go wrong. I realistically don't expect to see solid state batteries until after 2025 at the earliest. But it does seem like it has enough backing from big companies, and but the prototypes are working well. I think their biggest problem is scaling and getting it to reliably produce in large numbers and have it cost effective. But if they could do it, again, there's a lot of advantages: much safer, much higher density, cycle life is better, it theoretically costs less, and maybe most importantly, very easy to recycle and have closed loop recycling. So looking forward to it. I don't think we're going to be seeing these in Apteras very soon. So probably not widespread use until about 2030 is my guess. Tell me if you guys know anything different, or if you think anything differently. Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching, guys.